Hello, friends. Thank you for viewing this presentation today on the importance of an annual report. I'm Judy Hills, the president of the Friends of the North Carolina Public Libraries, and I'm going to be leading you through this presentation today. Do you really need an annual report? Absolutely. It helps to document the Friends' accomplishments over the past calendar or fiscal year, and it should be a document, not just an oral report. It's needed for transparency, that is, the obligation or willingness by the Friends to publish and make available critical data about the organization. It provides an accounting to members and donors, library trustees, a regional library trustees if that's applicable, local governments, that's city and county that fund the library, and the general community. It doesn't have to be sophisticated or polished, however, it will be better received the more polished it is. What's the most important part of an annual report? In the beginning, it describes your accomplishments. What did you do? What projects, what programs, what services were you providing during that time period? Why did you choose that to do those projects, those programs? And what were the results? It's especially good if you can provide numeric information. Why did you spend time and money the way you did? You need to explain that to the public. And did it make a difference? You have to connect the dots for the readers. They are not mind readers, and it's up to you to clearly state how you accomplished what you accomplished. What needs to go in the financial section? First, you want to discuss your revenues. Where did they come from? Were they member dues? Were they outright cash donations? Were they from book sales? Were there grants? Expenditures. How much did you spend on what? And this is best displayed using charts and graphs, such as pie charts, bar graphs, and infographics. What you choose to use will depend on the information that you're trying to project. A short narrative may also be needed to explain the numbers. For instance, in the lower right-hand corner, they explain that the contribution to the library and programs and activities for $13,000 were used for bestseller books and DVDs. So how do we acknowledge donors and major contributors? You should list those in your annual report. That would be for cash and non-cash donors. Of course, you're not going to list every contributor, every person who gave you, a book or a bag of books, but if they made a significant contribution in the way of maybe a large library of books that they donated, that might be worth listing. You want to alphabetize a list so no one feels that just if they gave more money that they get more recognition. You want to list the members also who made a significant contribution of their time and talents. We have to remember to acknowledge the people who do the work. And you want to use a lot of pictures in here. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So what else could go in an annual report? You could do some graphs such as book sale net profit over time. For example, recording it, let's say for the past 5 years, you may look at that graph and say, gee, our revenues have been declining from our book sales. Does that mean anything, or should we take any action based on that information? Membership graph, an example is the one to the right, the FONCPL membership over time. That helps you also make some decisions. You could list the volunteer hours, and by the way, there is a website where you can go to look up the value of a volunteer hour for each given year, and you could put a dollar amount to the value of those volunteer hours, and that always impresses, especially those in local government. You might want to do something with regard to the fund or reserve balance that you have. That's a net gain or hopefully not the net loss for the year. You might also want to talk about any savings or investment accounts that you may have, and if you made any contributions to an endowment, and anything else related to that that you can think of that you might want to document. So what should an annual report look like? Well, do some research to find out how other friends' annual reports look. It could be 2 pages or it could be 20 or more. It could be plain or it could be glossy, but certainly it should tell your story. The one on the left is a simple report. It probably is only a couple pages long, and the others maybe are more polished and have more information in them. What you do depends on your size and your capabilities. So how might you use the annual report? Certainly you should publish it on your website. Provide an electronic copy to all your members, supporters, and donors. Provide a copy to prospective or new members to impress them with how much you do. Attend meetings and provide a copy as well as an oral report for the annual Friends meeting, library trustee meetings, the city council, county commissioner meetings, Chamber of Commerce, presentation to other groups. And remember that a lot of the government meetings in the mid-sized to larger communities are televised, so you get some really good exposure for your friends, an opportunity to perhaps get some new members from that. So here are some links to examples of annual reports. You're not going to be able to access this if you're watching the YouTube channel, but if you go to our website, you can just look at a PFD of this presentation, this PowerPoint, and you can access those from there. And here are some additional resources on annual reports talking about making charts and graphs, using infographics, other essential information, as well as quotes. They are really good for inspiration to include in your annual reports. So we're going to close with a quote today. We unwittingly judge products by their boxes, books by their covers, and even corporations' annual reports by their nice glossy finish. So what does that tell us? That our reports do need to look good. They do need to contain important information that tells your story. And so I hope to leave you with the idea that every Friends group, no matter how small, should have an annual report. And I really hope that if you don't have one, that you will do one. Thank you for listening in today, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.